The name is Liru and the show is Friday Night Debates.
And in that process of accepting people, introducing those people to Jesus Christ, introducing them to the steps and the precepts of Jesus Christ.
Is this empowering for me? So, going back to being an African right now, if you talk to a young person in Africa and tell them to go back to the basics, I'll say go to fund.
Empower Bank, which was established to say that we want youths to gain funds.
So I wish you can refer to me the examples of these extroverts that have made it today for us to prove and support your notion.
To really spend the time in doing the research and doing the innovation in order to get to the point where you can produce a new product for.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. The name is Liru and the show is Friday Night Debates. We are not a platform for competition, but a platform for finding solutions and sharing of ideas. Tonight, we are going to give you a special kick-off one-on-one with Mr. Marara on how he has managed to stay in business since the year 2000. But before we get to that part, let me give you a background of what led to this day. You know, there was this day I posted something on Facebook and I said, these days it's now hard for us to convince our young ones to study hard so that they can get jobs, because now jobs are scarce. You know, a lot of people were supporting me, but there's this one Facebook user who got me thinking. He said, you know what, sister, these days it's no longer about acquiring knowledge so that you can find employment. It's now about creating employment. It's now about applying your knowledge. It's now about entrepreneurship. But is everyone an entrepreneur? Because you find out that we've got people who are just passionate about being employed. They just want to work for someone, or it's all in the mindset. But we also have people who just want to be nurses, who just want to be doctors. But also, you realize that at some point in your life, you might have sold something to someone, which is called retailing. But also when you look at the definition of entrepreneurship, which is the creation of a business, or which is finding solutions to problems, you might have found a solution at some point in your life. So are you an entrepreneur? So to help me find answers to all these questions, I've managed to invite a panel of 3 business moguls. So before we get into the debate, I promised you a one-on-one. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Norest Marara. Thank you, sir. Please take a seat.
Most welcome. Thank you, Liru.
You're welcome.
Yes, sure.
Mr. Norest Marara is the Secure Freight Systems of Zimbabwe, is the director, and is also the director of Dawn Shipping and Logistics South Africa, am I right?
Absolutely.
And also the director of Secure Freight Botswana, all those countries. And he also told me that he has just ventured into
Real estate.
yes. You know what? The interesting part is you started your business in the year of 2000. 2000, if I remember, I was young, but if I remember correctly, that's when we had Honda Media.
Yes.
You were starting a business.
Yes.
2008, you survived cholera.
Yes.
You also survived high inflation.
Absolutely.
2009, dollarization. You survived that. 2017, we introduced the bond, right? You survived that. Then 2020, you survived coronavirus.
COVID.
And during coronavirus, you are now venturing into?
More business.
Wow. Who are you?
Well, maybe I need to give a brief background of who Mr. Marara is. I was born in the rural areas. Life was very tough. I mean, real tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I went to a local primary school, which was nearby, but high school was far. It was like over 7 kilometers, and we would jog to school, literally.
Wow.
Yes, it was really tough. There was nothing to talk about. Then
How did you come to the city then?
I only came to town when I finished school, when I finished high school.
And you were
I've got a very, for those, I'm a very fan of social media.
Yes.
So for those who follow me, if you go to my handles, there's a very funny picture of myself standing in Africa Unit Square.
Oh, I saw that one.
Yes, I actually wanted to bring a
It
print
looks
of
like
it.
a free picture. Why do I say that? Because the water was actually splashing on you.
Yes.
So I'm sure if you had paid for that one, the cameraman would have said, stand here.
Oh yes.
So
Yeah, sure. So I actually came to town.
Yes.
I'm one of those Johnny come late, they come to town late.
Yes.
I came to town after high school. I would come in between.
This is in the year 2009.
No. I came to town. I finished high school in 1993.
Okay.
Yes, and then there was hope of getting a job in the manual jobs in industry. So I would walk from Budiriro to town. Like that particular day on that photo, I had walked from Budiriro to town.
So probably you're sweating, and I'm saying the water.
Yes, and if you look at my hair at the time, it's clear that I did not have the little that we are charged in the ghetto for a haircut.
I know, right?
Things were really hard for me there. But I was looking for a job because we would walk from the ghetto into the industries looking for jobs.
Yes.
But this is the time when one could only get a job when you knew someone.
Yes.
If you knew a
You
sekuru
needed
or
to
some
be connected.
relative, you could not easily get a job. I had my very colorful high school results, which are in the envelope that I'm holding in that photo.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So I was looking for a job, and I just passed through the square, and I got that picture taken.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really hard. So I came to town, started looking for a job.
Did you get the job?
It was difficult for me to get one.
You didn't even get the job?
No, it wasn't that easy to get the job, but the jobs were there. You would gradually.
So what led to all these businesses then? Because I'm thinking you got a job and you learned from someone or your boss or someone who was...
No, I didn't get any job at the time. So what then happened is some few years down the line after my high school, I thought that for us boys in the ghetto, the people that we were looking up to as successful people were those who were doing, like, if you are a sales rep for, say, National Foods or for Dairy Board,
Yes.
those who would come to the ghetto with a small bag which is branded like a Dairy Board car, that was my goal, to be one of those. For me, that was success. So I realized that with my colorful high school results, if I do a course of some sort, like a marketing or sales or PR,
Yes.
then get a driver's license and probably a passport, that would be my gateway.
Did you get that?
I managed to get my passport. Then I got a work at a construction site as an assistant laborer. I could literally run with wheelbarrows of cement.
Okay.
And yes, I could literally do anything. I worked in tuck shops as I don't know what you call those guys who sell in tuck shops.
So would you say that your background helped you a lot during those times?
In shaping what I have become.
Because someone, I'm looking at myself, if you say run around with a wheelbarrow, I might say no.
That's dirty,
Yeah.
That's not smart.
You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But you have been doing it.
Yes.
So for you, it was, I know how to do this, I'm just going to jump in.
Yes, I had my goals set,
Yes.
but I wanted a bridge to get there.
Yes.
So what I did is I would grab any opportunity that comes my way that would give me income enough to get my passport, my driver's license, and some course, commercial course. So I got my passport, it was easy. Then I got a provisional driver's license, but money to pay for driving lessons was not enough. So I would do keep a little bit of any cash that came my way. So I would do any job, any manual job, or any manual job that, for that matter. And when I got a little bit of enough, I got my provisional driver's license.
Yes.
Then someone came and said, there's a construction site in Waterfalls. They want some manual laborers. Are you interested? And
You're like, of course.
yes, absolutely. I grabbed the opportunity. I
Yes,
went there.
yes. Mhm.
But fortunate enough, the foreman who were there, he just liked me from nowhere. I don't know whether it was luck or it was God.
It was God, of course.
They picked me from the whole crew and said, we want this young boy to do the clerical work on the site.
Yes.
So I ended up not doing the hard work. I was now doing the clerical work.
Yes.
With that money, I then got my driver's license. And then as I was sitting on a weekend reading the classified section of the Sunday Mail, I got a job that was advertised. It was a shipping manager's job. And they wanted someone with 3 years experience, working experience, a driver's license and a passport.
Only that.
Only that.
Okay.
And
you had
the amount of salary that was there was better than a bank manager. You know,
Wow.
during the time, you know, a bank manager was someone you would look up
Those
to.
were the boys.
Those were the people, you know.
Yes, yes.
And I said, this is it for me.
Uh-huh.
You know, and then as I was going through
So you
this-
just had faith. You saw this
Yes.
advert and you were like, I'm gonna get this one.
Yes, and in the very same newspaper,
Yes.
I came across a college which was advertising the very same type of course.
Oh.
Yes,
Okay.
because I'm into shipping and logistics and customs clearance and
Yes.
freight forwarding. So there was a course for customs clearance, and it was only for 3 months. And you get a certificate. And
How,
I said,
how do you become that faithful? Like you see an advert and then you are like, this is my job, but I'm also going to study for this job that I've claimed that it's mine. How do you do that?
and the coincidence as well,
Yeah.
that in the very same paper,
So it was yours.
yes. So in that coincidence, so I see this job and I like it, and I'm saying this is what I'm gonna go for. I'm going to look for the college that offers this kind of course, and I bumped into it in the very same newspaper.
Wow.
You know, then
That's
after
what
that,
they call FET.
I don't know. So I think it is fate.
Okay,
Because it's I just don't know.
Yeah.
Yes. Then I made inquiries with the college, and guess what? My monthly earning, I was earning like $750 at the time.
It was a lot.
It was a lot,
Yes.
yes, but that was my rental, my everything.
Wow.
And the college is offering a 3-month course for $700 per month for 3 months, and this is equivalent to my whole salary.
Yes.
So it leaves me empty. So there was no way I was gonna make it.
Okay.
Yes.
I was already excited. I thought you went for that course.
I went to inquire and
And
established
you
that
realized you couldn't
I
afford
realized
it.
that I couldn't afford it because
Yes.
the amount of money per month
Mhm.
in tuition fees
Yes.
was equivalent to my total earnings.
Yes.
There was not even enough for my transport to the college after work. There was not even enough for my rentals and my upkeep and to buy books. So I spoke to someone who gladly told me to come to his office on a Monday, and he instructed his PA to fish out the equivalent of everything from his petty cash.
Wow.
This is how I went to college
Yes,
to start
yes.
my customs clearance
So
course.
it's actually true that no man is an island, right?
No,
Yeah.
that doesn't exist. If you try to practice it, then you go nowhere.
Wow.
Yes. So after that, I went for my course. As soon as I finish, I'm waiting for my results. Boom, I get my first job.
Oh.
Yes, I now have my driver's license. I'm waiting for my customs clearance certificate.
Yes.
I have got a job in the industry. That was my breakthrough.
You had so much patience, right?
Yes. It's one of
So
the...
now that you are employed,
Yes.
let's get to the business side.
Yes.
You becoming a director.
I then on my first job, I worked for about 2 years. Then the company went into liquidation. It was an indigenous owned company. It liquidated. Then it means I had to look for a job. And then I was headhunted by an international shipping company. Yes, they took me as a junior clerk, and I worked there into the year 2000. Then this comes to the time of Ondoeminda that you were talking about. And then I got retrenched.
Oh.
Yes, because in my line of business, we are dealing mostly with imported goods. We are transporting imported goods into the country from wherever someone is got them. We are clearing them at the borders. So if, like right now, our banks do not have foreign exchange where you can just walk into any bank and make a telegraphic transfer to buy whatever you want to buy. You have to go, the government has introduced it through the Reserve Bank, the auction system, where you have to submit a bid. It can succeed or it can fail. Yes. But someone like yourself who wants to buy a sewing machine in China cannot go to Reserve Bank and bid. Yes. So it means you have to source funds from alternative sources which are expensive for people. So the level of imports even now, they are still very low because the banks do not have the free foreign exchange for people to import. So year 2000, all banks ran dry of foreign exchange and imports dried up. And this is the time Jambaja when the farm started. And we found ourselves just sitting at the company month on end, and we are drawing salaries. And the management took a position to say, guys, this is unsustainable. We have to retrench some guys.
Now you need a plan B.
Yes, and every other company was retrenching, especially those that import and the related industries, or even the farms, because the farms were importing equipment, inputs like fertilizers and chemicals. So when there was chaos on the farms, it means a lot of businesses were affected and the downstream industries were affected. So suddenly there is no work and you can't look for a job. The only thing that I could think of was going solo, to go my own way.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
Yes. So in April, I left my employment. By June, Secure Freight Systems was incorporated. It was on the 14th, I can still remember, 14th of June 2000. I got my certificate of incorporation.
Did you have a plan B?
My only plan was to go my own way, because when I was working at the airport, I was like an assistant manager, or like an assistant manager.
I mean, a lot of people are afraid of starting companies.
One thing that I take risks. I'm a risk taker, a serious one. Sometimes I look at myself and say, this is dangerous. I'm a serious risk taker. I just need to convince myself that if it succeeds, then I've made it. If it doesn't, then I'm bad. But I take risks. So I took the risk. But I didn't have much choice anyway. Yes, because this is the only thing that I know. This is the only thing that I've done. And this is the only thing that I'm passionate about. I enjoy my job. I enjoy it so much. So I decided to go my own way. I have incorporated the company. Then I made a terrible mistake. The terrain had changed.
Yes.
I was cultured by my previous employers that for you to earn the trust of the clients, you must have an office which is fully equipped with all the gadgets. Like at that time, you needed to have a fax machine, you needed to have a proper company on a letterhead with a landline and an email address, so that if they phone, a secretary will say, Secure Freight, good morning, Then we or if I make a phone call, I'm making it from a landline in the office with a physical address.
Yes.
Then I will send a fax, which is showing the office number.
Yes.
And if a prospective client wants to support you, they can pay a visit and see the structure, you know. But during the year 2000, things had changed. You had to go where the work was. So I spent the whole 2000 sitting in an office making phone calls, you know, sending faxes, making quotations, going after clients, and you know. But that was a good lesson that I learned.
Yes, yes.
Because it then taught me that you had to go out there and look for work.
What happened after the loss? This is like a whole year.
Gone.
Yes, yes.
Yes, and all.
How did you bounce back?
I continued slowly, but I had to temporarily look for a job.
Oh.
Because the little resources from the retrenchment package.
Yes.
And remember, this is when inflation had started to hit, and the people would believe that some evil spirits were stealing money from us. You know,
yes,
it was inflation.
Yes.
So,
yes.
so the resources.
Oh
yeah, the resources have depleted.
Yes.
I can't even pay for my rent house, and I have a young wife and a small baby, and things are just going bad. So I had to temporarily look for a job whilst I was still fixing the things. But the whole lessons of year 2000 taught me that you had to go out there and abandon the office. In fact, an office was a bill that needed to be paid with money that was not there.
Yes.
So I left the office and I had to go onto the street. You had to be standing by Zimra office. This is where people would come with jobs, and you would get the job and get it done there, and you get a little bit of cash, and you break even. So I built it then from the street.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
I had to go onto the street and start from there, like a briefcase company. People say is a briefcase company. This is where I had to go and start from.
This is in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
How did you manage to expand to South Africa, then Botswana?
I've managed then to stay afloat during all the turbulent years, because there are
How did you do that?
there are certain things that I mastered. You need to reduce your costs.
Which cost?
Like the rental, if you have to have an office.
I'm worried. I thought you were going to say clothes.
No, costs. Your
Okay.
operational costs
Oh,
must
okay.
be very low.
Yes.
You need to have very low operational costs. Yes, and you need to have the skills to understand.
When you say low operational costs,
Yes.
are you also referring to salaries, people's salaries?
Your wage bill has to be low as well in terms of the number of people that you keep in your
Or
employment.
in terms of the number of
The numbers, not to underpay the people.
That's okay.
You must pay. You must, in fact, before you satisfy a client, you must satisfy your subordinates, those that you work with. If they are happy, then it goes out to the client. But if they are not happy, they will talk bad about you to the clients, and the clients will end up running away from you.
How some bosses are watching.
Yes, you need to make sure your staff is very happy. Like the team that I work with, have no complaints.
Are you sure?
Absolutely. They have no complaints. Because
Okay.
I have given them all the tools that they want to do their job, but to also make sure they are personally happy under the circumstances.
Okay.
So
You mentioned one thing. You need to lower your costs.
Yes,
Number
operational
two.
costs, yes.
Yes, number two.
Your overheads, in short.
Okay. Is that the only thing that you need to do? You're going to give us a list of things.
You also need to be so good to your clients in terms of, say, the pricing. Your pricing, like I'll tell you, in our industry, we used to charge them 3% of the value of the goods that are the landed cost of the incoming cargo. For example, if you bring in cargo worth $10 million,
You add
3% up to the border, say at Byte Bridge or at the airport, or at Chirundu, Kasungula, whichever border, the point of entry to the country. 3% of the costs incurred up to the point of entry into the border is what we used to charge as our agency fees.
Yes.
that was really good money. Imagine you are those who are good at maths.
Yeah,
Imagine
yeah.
you are bringing in
I just
a
did the
shipment.
math right now.
Yeah,
And I was like, okay.
10 million US dollars worth, and you put 3%.
Wow.
You know, we used to charge that. Big corporates used to pay those monies. But because now everyone, which comes back to the theme,
Yes.
because now everyone is an entrepreneur, we are all now
No, we haven't agreed on that one.
Oh, okay. It's okay. Yeah. Because we are all now self-employed.
Yes.
The market is so, the cake is small, yet those who wants to eat the cake are so many.
Yes.
So you have to be competitive in terms of your price, the turnaround time, the delivery time. If it takes a colleague 3 hours, try to do it in an hour or less. Then if you have a satisfied client, you are bound to get more referral clients. So your turnaround time, your pricing, from 3%, we abandoned 3%, we are now charging as little as $100 US or even $50 US.
Wow.
For a piece of work that we used to charge 3% of 10,000. So if someone brings in equipment worth 10 million US, you can agree on 100, 150. If
Wow.
you don't do that, someone will ask you for $50 and do it because it's just trying to survive.
Yes, yes.
You know, the harsh economic environment that we.
Okay.
We-
Let's
we
get
find
to the
ourselves
third point. You gave us two.
Yes.
Do we have another one, or those are the only points?
I think your pricing.
Your pricing, yeah, your
Yeah,
pricing.
I spoke about pricing. I spoke about the turnaround time.
Yes.
Then basically, I think those are the key major ones. Just keeping your client happy, having a correct price, and delivery on time.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, you challenged me this other day when you mentioned that you are still studying. I mean, I just have 1 degree and I'm thinking, I'm cool, you know what I'm saying? But the moment you say you are now studying, I'm now even ashamed to say I've got 1 degree, but someone with so many companies still wants to study. Why are you still studying?
There's actually a surprise for you regarding your degree. I do not have an undergrad.
Oh.
Yes, I'm not a holder of an undergrad degree.
Yes.
But because of my over 20 years experience running a successful, but not so big, I've managed to stay afloat and successfully so.
Yes.
A shipping company of my own since 2000. I have now established myself in South Africa as Don Shipping and Logistics. It's Durban based.
Yes.
I've also established in Botswana. Although we were affected by the COVID pandemic,
Yes.
we couldn't finish some of the regulatory frameworks. So we are operating in
I see,
Botswana.
you're taking on the world.
Yes.
But why are you still studying? I mean, you have everything.
I don't have everything. I haven't actually done anything.
Really?
Yes, I'm not satisfied. I haven't. I mean, my peers and friends say he did it, he made it.
Do you want
I
us
broke
to
through,
hide?
but I haven't reached there. I managed to break through.
Yes, yes.
Yes, if you say a breakthrough, I will agree. But to say I've made it, I'm still very far from it.
Wow.
So because of my experience in the industry for so many years, I got an exemption to do a master's degree without an undergrad.
Ooh,
To study for a master's in
excellent.
to study for a master's degree in supply chain management and the logistics with the University of Harrow in the UK.
Ooh,
Yes, so
awesome.
yes, so when I'm done with the other activities, my work and my other engagements in life, I go home, I watch my TV, have my food, and then I study.
Yes.
I sleep very early in the morning and wake up just when everyone else is at the office. I sleep for a few hours.
In
early
Shona,
the
they
morning.
say hatirare musiwatamuka.
Yes.
That's what you do?
Yes,
Wow.
yes, I don't. And maybe, I don't know whether it's coincidental. My mother called me Norest. I literally don't rest as well.
I've noticed.
Yes, I don't. So I deal with my normal office work during the day. Have my other engagements that I do. church and my other life. Then when I'm done, when I retire at home, I wake up when everyone is going to sleep to study.
This is so inspiring.
Yes,
You know
I
what?
need to study because I want to further myself.
Yes.
I think I haven't reached there. The fact that I couldn't afford, my parents couldn't afford to send me to university when I could have, when you guys did,
Yes.
you know, gave me this edge to continue to want to do more.
Wow.
So-
This is
so,
inspiring. So
yes.
you actually don't need education to be successful in life or to make money.
No, not at all. I've got a lot of the very bright friends of mine from high school who made it up to university. Some have master's degree in whatever. They don't match. They don't match. They don't match when
Now
it comes
feeling yourself.
to. Yeah, because they don't match.
Yes.
They've got so much respect.
Uh-huh.
It's how you structure yourself based on what you have.
Okay.
Like the way I was telling you that, you know, my background was not all that it was. It was a bad one, and I don't want it on my children.
What
Not
is the
at all.
vision?
The vision is to be this one guy who will make it in life. I want to get to a stage where I will
What do you
say,
mean by make it?
I want to be
A
like,
billionaire?
I want to be like Masiwa. If I
Wow.
do. You know, and talking of Masiwa,
Mhm.
when he brought his first equipment
Yes.
in the 1998
Uh-huh.
at the airport,
Yes.
I was there with him. He was still very humble. Of course, he had tried construction and other things.
You know what
But-
I'm picking right now?
Yes.
The fact that I've managed to sit with you like this,
Yes.
I'm going to be successful.
You are a success. You are a success. You are a
Thank
successful
you.
story.
Thank you.
Yes, you are a successful story.
Yes.
Yes.
You can continue.
Yes.
The
So
Masiwa story.
I saw Masiwa in 1998 at the airport, waiting for his first consignment to arrive for Econet.
Yes.
He was still driving one of those old Lexus, very big old Lexus cars. He was just a simple strive.
Yes.
And we were actually meant to clear the achievement for Econet, because my boss then was doing extremely well. He was an indigenous guy, was extremely well. And the first buyer for Econet, Mr. Kawandera, was friends to my former boss. So there were promises that we would do the inaugural Econet shipment or shipments. It didn't happen. But I remember sitting at the airport, seeing Mr. Masiwa waiting for his in the commercial section of the office. And this is a young Marara, a small boy, breaking through into the industry. I was still, yes. So I've seen his story, and I've seen the way he has made it
Yes.
into the world.
And
So
a lot of young ones are seeing your story right
Yes.
now and the way you have made it, and
Yes.
they're getting inspired.
yes,
Wow.
everyone can be who they want to be
Amen.
if there is that dedication,
Yes.
the perseverance,
Yes.
the hard work,
Mhm.
and the prayer as well. After you've done everything, you need to pray. I
You
pray.
didn't mention connections. I hear that all the time in the
Yes.
streets. You need connections.
You need to be someone who is connected, not in the way people in Harare are connected. You need the
Okay.
connections that you need are those where you build the relationships, positive
That's what we do
relationships.
in Bulawayo.
Yes, thank you. I'll migrate to Bulawayo if we have people like that. So you need to build a good, positive relationships with people, because then they will recommend you, they will talk nice about you. You have calls coming in from people who are saying, we got this call from so and so, they are so happy with what you do. You know, those are very important. And never, ever, ever burn bridges. Do not burn bridges. Because when a flood is coming and you want to cross, you will be in deep trouble, you'll be swept away.
Wow.
So you always need to maintain relationships. If you cross paths with someone, you have had an argument, you need to separate nicely, peacefully, because you will meet again.
Okay.
And you will need those people.
Okay.
So
I'm just
never
going
ever.
to take one question from the audience.
Okay.
Okay, any question for Miss Marara? Yes.
My name is Kainos. I wanted to ask, what role is your background played in the rise of your business career? How did your background shape the way you are today? Like, for example, you can say that is a person's success in business determined by where you come from?
Okay. Thank you for the question. The background is not necessarily the determining factor in how on who you become. You become who you become because of who you want to become.
Wow.
You know, your background has nothing to do with who you become, because when I post my, people always laugh at my picture that I was talking about.
Yes.
It's not a very pleasant picture. I have another one with my wife, year 2001. She's pregnant with our second baby. And things were visibly not okay.
I know.
We were those poor cousins, struggling to make things work,
Yes.
And I always post that against my present self and the wife. And they say, but guys, why do you post this? People are shy to display who they were, to display their past. I'm not ashamed. I'm doing that to inspire someone who is giving up on life, who may want to say commit suicide.
Yes,
to say my life is going nowhere, I can't make it. And you're looking at this guy who is visibly hungry and so poor, and who he has become now. So that's the story I'm trying to put to you and to anyone out there, to say you can also make it. From zero to someone, you can actually do it, because the life was not that rosy, but I managed to break through the hope of others and who I wanted to be. I worked so hard to become who I became, because I wanted to be there. I worked for it. I created connections. I was so patient. I persevered. I was determined, and I had the vision to say I want to be like this, and I can see myself getting there.
Excellent. One last question. Yes.
Okay, my question is in relation to your pursuing of the career that you're currently in. Like, was it always, it's actually two questions, if I may. Was it always something you saw yourself doing, or the passion came as you started to move, as you began to move? Like, when you were a child, did you think I was going to venture into this business, or you were like, this is something that I came across during the long run? And then the second one is in relation to the fact that you mentioned that you were very prayerful. I am a Christian, and I believe that as a Christian, sometimes your walk is not always rosy, it's not always smooth. So I'd like to know, like, were there times you felt like you wanted to give up, and what gave you the drive to keep on pursuing and believe in your God?
Okay, thank you so much. I'll start with the first question. Did I want to be what I am now? Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be somebody, a successful somebody. And here I am, I broke through, and I'm breaking barriers. So, yes, I wanted to be. No, in the sense that I had no idea what shipping is about. I had no idea what customs clearance is about, freight forwarding, logistics. These are things that I never knew about. I wanted to be a sales rep, and my first, my diploma post my certificate in customs clearance was LCCI marketing. I wanted to be a sales rep, who will be selling maybe Vaseline for liver brothers and, you know, going around shops in the ghetto with those small bakkies and, you know, for me that was the in thing in Budiriro and Glenview at the time. Those are the people that I was looking up to say, I want to be like that guy, you know, because most of them, they had their own houses, their kids were going to better schools, you know, and this is what I thought was success at the time. This was just coincidental. That as I was reading some old used newspaper, I saw this nice job and I said, but this is nice. And the next thing, there's an advert for the same the program, you know, to study, and it's only 3 months. And I said, then it awakened that demon, that holy demon in me to say, I'm going to do this, and I will do it, and I did it, you know. So then to your second question about prayer, I always put prayer. I have faith. I have seen some verses in the Bible about, some stories about Job. When everyone had condemned him, he was faithful that he was going to come out of the condition that he was in. And he did came out. You know, there's quite a number of stories that I've read in the Bible and that I've heard in the Bible where against all odds people made it. So I pray a lot. I'm a firm believer in the Lord. So in everything that I do, I give it up to the Lord.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sir.
Yes.
Inspiring story right there.
Thank
Keep
you.
doing what you're doing. We love learning from you.